President, please be seated. The court is now in session. For today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow's proceedings, the Chamber will hear the statements of harms and sufferings by some civil parties who claimed they suffered during the Democratic Cambodia regime in relation to the treatment of the target groups, that is, the Cham, the Vietnamese, and the former Tribunal officers. There are 5 civil parties who will provide a statement. One is 2TCCP, 1008, 263, 1014, 1015, and lastly is 2TCCP 259. The first civil party who will provide a statement of suffering this morning is 2TCCP 1013. Ms. Koboti, please report the attendance of the parties and other individuals to today's proceedings. Gracias, Mr. President. For today's proceedings, all parties to this case are present, except Counsel Peter Copper, the International Defense Counsel for Nuon Chea, who is absent without reasons. Antagise, the International Counsel for Kirsampon, is absent for personal reasons. Mr. Nuon Chea is present in the holding cell downstairs. He has waived his right to be present in the courtroom. The waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The civil party who is to provide a statement of harm and suffering today is 1013 for the first one, and we will have another civil party this afternoon. That is to TCCP 263. We also have the presence of the support staff from TPO, and they are ready to be called, Mr. President. President, thank you, Ms. Koboti. The Chamber now decides on the request by Nuon Chea. The Chamber has received a waiver from Nuon Chea dated 29 February 2016, which states that due to his health, headache, back pain, he cannot sit or concentrate for long, and in order to effectively participate in future hearings, he requests to waive his rights to participate in and be present at the 29th February 2016 hearing. He affirms that his counsel has advised him about the consequences of this waiver, that it cannot in any account be construed as a waiver of his rights to be tried fairly or to challenge evidence presented to or admitted by this court at any time during this trial. Having seen the medical report of Nuon Chea by the duty doctor for the accused at the ECCC, dated 29 February 2016, which notes that Nuon Chea has back pain and feels dizzy when he sits for long or when he moves, and recommends that the Chamber grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the Chamber grants Nuon Chea his request to follow today's proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs via audio-visual means. The Chamber instructs the AV unit personnel to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Nuon Chea can follow. This applies to the whole day. Court officer, please assure the civil party to CCP 1013 as well as the TPO support staff into the courtroom. President, good morning, Mr. Civil Party. What is your name? Civil Party, my name is Ma Pai. I'm from Krao Krabai, Trapeang Chong Commune, Bakan District, Pusat Province. Question, when were you born? Answer, I was born on 1st February 1961. Question, what is your current occupation? Answer, I am a farmer. Question, what are the names of your parents? Answer, my father is Ismail and my mother is Lohlop. Question, what is your wife's name and how many children do you have? Answer, Man Isma is my wife and we have 4 children. President, the Chamber wishes to inform the parties and the public that for the proceedings to hear the statement of harm and suffering of civil parties through the victims support, the witness and expert support section, we have coordinated the presence of TPO staff to lend his support to the civil party so that the civil party can provide his or her statement of harm and suffering. And this morning we have Mr. Bun Lum Hu, who is a TPO staff and is sitting next to the civil party. And Mr. Ma Pe, as a civil party in the proceedings before this chamber, you may make a statement of harm and suffering, if any, concerning the crimes which are alleged against the 2 accused, Nuon Chea and Khieu Samphan, and have suffered by you during the Democratic Cambodia, resulting in your civil party application to claim collective and moral reparation for physical, material or mental injuries as direct consequences of those crimes, and that is for the period between 17 April 1975 to 6 January 1979. And this is in particular in relation to the treatment of the targeted groups of the Cham, the Vietnamese and the former officials of the Khmer Republic regime. And First, before we start, the Chamber wishes to inquire from the legal lawyers if you intend the civil party to make his own statement of harm and suffering, or you wish to put the questions to the civil party so the civil party can respond to those questions as you have requested in the previous proceedings. Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. Good morning, everyone in and around the courtroom. For civil party Mơ Pơ and for the other 4 civil parties who will make their statement of harms and sufferings, we would like to seek your permission for smooth proceedings to be in the form of question and answer session. And we also would like to inform the chamber that the civil party also have some questions to be put to the accused. And we designated Lao Chun Thi, the civil party lawyer, to put questions to the civil party with your permission. President, your request is granted. And the assigned civil party counsel can put the questions to this civil party first before other parties, and you may proceed. Lao Chun Thi, thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, everyone in and around the courtroom. Good morning, Mr. Mao Pu. My name is Lao Chun Thi. I'm also your legal representative, and I'd like to put some questions to you. Chiefly in relation to your experience during the period of Democratic Cambodia regime. That is from the 17th April 1975 to the 6th January 1979. From your own experience living through the regime, and also as a charm person, I'd like to put the following questions to you. Can you describe the suffering that you received during the period of Democratic Cambodia regime? Civil Party, thank you for your question. I'd like to answer. The Khmer Rouge took control of the country in 1975. They mistreated the Cham people. They forced the Cham people to abandon their religion, their personal properties, belongings, and their relatives. I was forced to evacuate my native village. Also, during the Khmer Rouge regime, I was forced to separate from my family members, from my relatives. From my native village as well. There was no proper form of living condition, no proper schooling, no religion. I was by myself without my parents or my family members. I was at the mercy of Angkar, and they did not provide me any sufficient food to eat. and I had to work according to the orders of Onka. I had to work day and night, and I became so skinny and bony because of the lack of food and the hard labor. And if I could not finish the work schedule, then I would be deprived of very little gruel that I was given. Life was so miserable. At the time, I was still a young boy, between 13 to 14 years old. I was by myself without my parents, and I had to live under a tree without proper accommodation. I slept in the open. Sometimes I suffered from rain and mosquito bites. Life was so miserable. Question. You stated that for the Cham people, they were separated from their family members. Could you tell the chamber how the process was carried out? Answer. Thank you for the question. We were separated from our family members to go and live in various battlefields and to work to whatever was ordered by Onka. We were forced to abandon our family and not to use our Cham language. If anyone spoke our language, Onka would take that person away and executed him or her, and that terrified us. We had nothing to hang on to during the regime. Question. I've just put a question to you in relation to your previous response that you were separated from your family members and that the religious practice was banned. Was there any formal declaration on these prohibitions and acts, and if so, from which level? Answer. Thank you for the question. Allow me to backtrack a little bit. In 1975, the cooperative made an announcement for the Cham people to cut their hair short and not to not to use scarf to cover their head, and that we were forced not to live in a group, and we were evacuated from one village to another or from one cooperative to the next. And that was the time that I lost contact with my family members. Question. Can you tell the chamber when such announcement was made and the location? Was it announced in a village or in a particular cooperative? Answer. The announcement was made in Tekui in Bakan district, Posat province. The announcement made by the Khmer Rouge was done right there in the village, and my family was evacuated to Tram Se cooperative. I remained for only a few days in the cooperative. Then Angka sent me to the canal and to build dams. Question. what happened to you after such an announcement had been made, in particular in relation to your religious practice? Did it have an impact on the Cham people as a whole and on you in particular? Answer. It really impacted the Cham people. The Khmer Rouge forced the Cham people to eat pork and to force the Cham people to do whatever the Khmer people did. And that was the most difficult thing for the Cham people, as we lost our own identities, lost our religion, and our body became so thin. We were mistreated and persecuted in every way during the period of 3 years, 8 months and 20 days. My life was so miserable for many reasons. Mainly, I was still a young boy and I lost my strength physically and mentally. They pointed a gun at me, accusing me of betraying Angkar. They had three AK-47s and 2 M17 pointing at me that I was accused of being a traitor of Angkar as I stole rice. They beat me up freely without mercy, and I still suffered such injury at present. My hands were tied behind my back and I was pulled by a horse, and if I could not run and catch up with the horse, I was bitten. I was given only very thin gruel to eat and I was forced to work very hard to dig dirt, to take out tree stumps, and if any worker fell to the ground, that person would be beaten up. The situation was so miserable. I was by myself as a young boy. I did not have any family members living with me, and we were not allowed to speak to one another. I was one of the many prisoners living in the area, and I was with those people whose names I could not mention. We only addressed to one another as a comrade. And they also killed people in front of us during the meeting in order to intimidate us, and they warned us that if anyone betrayed Angkar, the person will be killed, as an example of the person being killed during the meeting, and that scared me mentally. And I was only thinking of the day that my turn would come. During the entire period of the Democratic Cambodia regime, I did not hear anything from my parents. I only heard that they were forced to eat thin gruel, and later on, due to lack of food, my father died first, and I did not even know where he died. I did not see him during his last breath. I was forced to eat pork, and because I was so scared, I had to force myself to eat pork so that I could survive. Question. You have testified that you suffered from the loss of your family members. Can you tell the chamber how many of your family members perished during the regime? Answer. I lost many family members, including my father and relatives, totaling 17 altogether. I also lost my nieces and nephews during the period. And that gave me much pain, and the pain and the suffering stayed with me at the present time. Question. You have stated that you lost 17 of your family members and relatives. Can you tell the chamber the circumstances of that death, in particular the death of your father? Answer. My father died because he was a charm person who adhered to his religious practice, and he didn't abandon his religion when he was forced by Angkar. They forced him to eat pork, but he refused. So Angkar gave him a last warning that he had to eat pork, and if he could not eat pork, then there would be nothing for him to eat. My father refused to eat pork, and he only drank water. And he had to find 3 leaves in the forest to eat. And that was terrible for him. Living in such a situation, I would think that it would be better if they were to kill him and not to allow him to suffer such a terrible circumstance. That was the time that his body became so emaciated. He also was by himself, and he died alone without the presence of any family member. I did not even know where he was buried. I heard of his death, and I sought permission from Angkar to go, but I was told that, comrade, your father died. And I said that was the reason that I wanted to go and visit him. And then I was scolded that I was not part of the unit to bury my father. So my request was refused. I was only told that my father died, but I was not allowed to go and see his dead body.
បាទអរគុណ
Lawyer, thank you. After your father died, did you receive any information that your relatives could hold the ceremonies based on your religion for your dead father? Answer, thank you. After he passed away, no one of my relatives went to hold any ceremony for my father's funeral. During the regime, there was no religion, there was no ceremony held for any dead people, and I was there at my place, at my location working, so there was a unit responsible for holding the ceremony for my father. some of my relatives were not aware that my father had passed away.
ការព្រាត់ប្រាសវេទ
We were separated from one another. It was a misery. Lawyer, thank you. Could you elaborate a little bit more in relation to your relatives who lost their lives, particularly your relatives who were suffering from the misery and who had been killed by the Khmer Rouge, if you know? Answer. Thank you. My uncle was accused that he betrayed Angkar. He was arrested as a result, and later on he was killed. He was chopped into pieces alive, and his body was salted. The child of my grand uncle rather knew about his death. Torture was inflicted on him. He was suffering from a great deal of misery before he died. Lawyer, thank you. Regarding the torture which was inflicted on him, was he tortured in the same village where you settled? Answer. He was tortured in Trolo village, Trolo commune, Bakan district, Posat province. Lawyer, thank you. I want you to describe the event when you were detained. What was the name of the detention facility at that place? Answer. I was detained in Tribunal detention facility, and at that location I witnessed a killing of a woman. That woman was accused of committing moral offense. She was asked to take off her clothes, and her body was cut open. I was a prisoner at the time, and I was asked to stand and look at the killing of that woman. And at the time, I could not see whether that woman was pregnant. There was blood everywhere after her body was cut open.
ហើយពេលនោះ
The liver was taken out of the body, and that liver was cooked for meal. I was so scary at that time since I was a young boy, so I had to abandon everything, even my name. I did not use my name Muhammad, but instead I prefer to use Mahapu. And as you know, I was a prisoner at the time.
បើគេដឹងថាខ្ញុំ
If they happen to know that I was a charmed person, I would be, in a very difficult situation at that time. So I had to abandon the using of my name, and I had to do everything for the sake of my life. I was chained at daytime, and I was shackled at nighttime as well. I was so young at that time, so I could not catch up with the other while walking, and I was used as an animal. So I had to bear the situation no matter what happened to me. And the killing was based on no reasons. People were killed. We were asked to stand and look at the execution. If we had cried at the time, we would have been killed. I had to bear the situation no matter what happened. Every time there was a killing, all of us were called to the execution place to witness the incident. They did not care whether we were so young at the time. And after the shackles were taken off from our ankles, we were forced to go to work. And if we did not want to go to work, we would be kicked and beaten. We were allowed to sleep on the floor and ground. We were not allowed to talk to one another. If we happened to talk very loudly, we would be in a dangerous situation. About 40 of us were together in the detention facility, but we did not know each other, and we had not known one another's names. Lawyer, thank you. I have heard the description of the incident and the misery you had described. So could you tell the location where that misery happened and what year did it happen? Answer. In late 1977 and early 1980, said the civil party. I was arrested and placed in Tribunal detention facility in Trang Cooperative. Lawyer, thank you. You have just stated that it was in late 1977 and early 19 something, but I could not hear it clearly. So could you state the year once again, please? Answer. It happened in late 1977 and early 1978. Lawyer, thank you. You made mention that you were arrested and detained in that prison or detention facility. You also stated that you were shackled at night time. And what about during the daytime? Were you chained? Answer. Thank you. During the night time, I was shackled, and in the daytime, I was released to go to work, and the chain was locked to our ankle, and we were linked to one another. Lawyer, thank you. So while you were working, you were also chained. Is that true? Answer. I was I was shackled in night time, and while I was working during the daytime, I was also chained. I was chained at my ankle with another uh, person. During the daytime, as I said, I was chained, and I was also shackled at night time. Lawyer, thank you. Once again, could you please mention the location where you were detained? And what about the meal or food ration given to the prisoners? How much food were prisoners given? Answer. I was arrested in Trang Cooperative and then detained at Tribunal detention facility. It was about 10 kilometers away from my cooperative. As for food ration, there was only watery porridge for all of us. We received one ladle of watery porridge, and if one dared to say that they did not have enough food to eat, they would be accused of betraying the Angka, and that person would be arrested and placed in a meeting for others to criticize. So during the time, as I said, I was trying to do my utmost for the sake of my life. I had to abandon everything out of me. Lawyer, thank you. I would like to backtrack a little bit. During the regime, as you said, you were a young boy. Did you receive any education when you were young? Answer. Thank you. Schools were closed down. There were no teachers and professors, no relatives, no parents living with all of us. We had to do the labor as assigned. So we suffered from miserable life, and I at the time imagined that others were wearing nice clothes, short trousers, and white shirt perhaps, but for me I had to do hard labor. I was so skinny and bony, and during that regime I could not sleep well at night, and I did not have time to take a rest during the daytime. So it was a misery for me, and particularly I was so pity on my families who had suffered the same experience. So it was a misery. Lawyer, you stated that there were no schools. So what was the consequence due to the fact that there were no schoolings. Answer. We had no education, so as a consequence, it happened to our family and in particular the whole society. We received no education, so because of this, it affected my family and the whole society after 1979. And I regret that I had not received any information, and it had great impact on my livelihood because of no education. No matter how hard we try, no matter what kind of things we did, we had no better life compared to others who have received education. Lawyer, thank you. You stated that there was an announcement of dispersing Cham communities. Do you recall who made such an announcement? And how were Cham people separated from one another? Could you tell the court about such announcement? Answer. Thank you. The announcement was made, but I cannot tell the court who was the one who made the announcement. And it was said that the announcement was made by the chief of a cooperative in a meeting. We were told that the announcement was made in a meeting by the cooperative chief. We were told to leave our native villages. We had to abandon our belongings, houses, lands that we owed. We had to be on our own with nothing. So the belongings and properties that my parents had reserved for all of us, for my family, was nothing. So it caused a great misery and impact on me and my relatives. So I inherited nothing from my parents because of this regime. Lawyer. So how was your family categorized? Answer. My family was categorized as a capitalist family, and we were considered Cham people. We were dispersed from being in one group. During the Khmer Rouge, if Khmer Rouge had known that we had many cattle and we had personal belongings, those belongings and properties had to be appropriated. We were told to abandon our properties and everything. Question. Was your family considered base people or new people. So once again, what type of what group were your family members put into?
អរគុណ
Answer. My family during the Khmer Rouge regime was put in a group below the 17 April people group. We were put to live in under the surveillance. We were considered feudalists and capitalists. I did not know what that meant at the time. Since I was a young boy, what I knew is that my family members were forcibly transferred from our native to live in a cooperative where there were no Cham people. Lawyer. Before 17 April 1975, did you live in a village where there were Cham people living there? Answer. Thank you. War erupted before the time. We went to live in a village with our Cham people. We evaded from the location where there were bombings and where there were shelling. But at our location before 17 April 1975, we could practice our religion and use our language. Question. What about later on? Were all of you in that community forced to leave? Answer. Thank you. After 17 April 1975, villagers and my relatives had to leave our native village. No one resided any longer in that village. We were told to leave for different locations, and women were told to have their hair cut short and to live in a normal life as Khmer people, and we were told to eat whatever Khmer people ate. We were told to abandon properties. Those who did not abandon their belongings and did not leave their villages, they would be killed by Angka. Lawyer, thank you. I want to ask for a clarification from you. After you were told to evacuate yourself from your village, were all of you, together with Cham people, told to live in different places, or were all of you told to live in one same place? Answer. Thank you. We were not allowed to live in one same place. My family was told to live in a different location from others. So we were sent to different locations for different work. Some people were put in mobile units, and the elderly was put in a different group. So we were put in different cooperatives. No one could live and reside in same location. Lawyer, my last question, Mr. Civil Party, for you. I know that you have still suffered from that great misery, as you said. So, what was the misery that made you unforgettable? Answer. Regarding the misery which impacted until today, it was the education that I have had never enjoy in my life, and also the properties that I should have inherited from my parents. Education is the most important property for every human being. For me, I enjoyed no education, so it had a great impact on me until today. Question. Coming back to mental suffering. So, what is the mental suffering you suffered until today? Answer. This kind of suffering was like a shadow following me every day. I regret that I have had no education. Secondly, I was detained in a prison where people were killed in front of me. Every time I close my eye, I recalled those past experience. I am so terrified as of now when recalling those kind of incidents. Question. Can you speak your own Cham language as of now?
ออกคุณ
Answer. For everyday conversation, I could speak better Khmer than Cham. Mr. President, I conclude my questioning now. Thank you. President, thank you. The floor is now given to other parties first, to the co-prosecutors, to put the questions to this civil party. If you have any, you may proceed. National Deputy Co-Prosecutor, good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors, good morning, everyone in and around the courtroom. And good morning, Mr. Civil Party. My name is Sri Ratna, a Deputy National Co-Prosecutor. I have some questions that I would like to put to you in relation to the killings and your personal experience between 1975 to 1979. From what you have told the court today, through your answering to questions by the lawyer for civil party, you said that you were evacuated to Trams Cooperative. can you tell the court which year that you were evacuated to that cooperative? Answer. On 17 April 1975, I was evacuated from my village to live in Tramseh cooperative. Question. How long did you remain living in that cooperative before you were moved to another location? Or did you remain living in that cooperative from 1975 to 1979? Answer. In late 1975, my family was evacuated to live in Mê Tắc cooperative. Question. What was Tramseh cooperative located in? Answer. Originally, it was located in Chma commune, although I did not know what the commune was known during the Khmer Rouge regime. However, it was in Bakan district, Pusat province. Question. You also have testified before the chamber the execution of people through various meetings organized by the Khmer Rouge in order to intimidate the people and to show that people who made mistakes will be punished that way. Besides the open executions during the meetings, did you witness any other executions? Answer. I used to see dead bodies, though I did not know how they were, who executed them, or for what reasons. Question. While you were in Tramseh cooperative, did you witness any killings? Answer. In Tramseh cooperative, I only knew that the Cham people who came from other locations, possibly from Phnom Penh, to live in Tramseh cooperative, the entire family of that Cham was killed. Question. Where did you witness the execution of those family members? Answer. I did not witness the execution. However, when I went to work, I saw that dead bodies are in a rice field. Question. In document E3/1913.3.4 from question 24 to question 30. In particular, in question and answer 30, that is in relation to your response to the questions before the OCIJ. And allow me to quote some of these questions. Question 24. In 1975, were there any group of people who were targeted by the Khmer Rouge? Answer. Muslim people were evacuated from probably kilometer number 9, who were accused of betraying Angkar, and they were taken away and executed. Question 25. Did this event happen in Tramsa Cooperative in 1975? Answer, yes. And further down to question 28, you were asked, what did you see? And you said, I saw the Khmer Rouge killing people, but I did not dare to stay there for long, and I moved away from the area. Free translation. And Mr. Sivapati, from your responses in this WRI, you stated that you witnessed the killing, but just then you said that you did not witness any killing. Can you please clarify the matter before the chamber? Which answer is the correct one? Answer. Regarding the one Muslim family from that kilometer village, I did not witness it, but I witnessed the killing of other people. And as I said, I only saw the dead bodies, and then I fled away as I was afraid that the Khmer Rouge militia spotted me and I would be arrested and killed. Question. So, your statement in this document is in reference to the killing, another killing of a Cham family, and that a Cham family possibly came from kilometer number 9, and on another occasion you saw a killing of another family member, but you only witnessed it briefly. Is that correct? President, National Council for Nuon Chea, you may proceed. National Council for Nuon Chea. Mr. President, I would like to object to this question by the National Co-Prosecutor, as the Sivapati already testified that he did not witness the killing of the Cham family from kilometer number 9. And the co-prosecutor put it through the civil party that he witnessed the execution of 2 Cham families. National co-prosecutor, allow me to rephrase my question then. Mr. Sivapati, could you please tell the court, or to clarify this matter, as you have testified that you saw a killing of a Cham family, and that you also saw dead bodies of a Cham family from kilometer number 9. Is that correct? Answer. When you refer to a Muslim family who was evacuated through Tramsa Cooperative together with 2 families from my village, the first family was taken away and killed. Second, I saw another group of Muslim people who were being killed by the Khmer Rouge. I did not witness the killing clearly, but I saw the attire worn by the Cham people, and then I fled from the area as I was afraid that the Khmer Rouge militia would spot me and kill me. Question. Could you please tell the court only what you witnessed? Where did you witness that? Answer. It was called tool slaying or slaying hill, and another killing was in a rice field not far from that tool slaying. Question. I'd like to make it clear, Mr. Sivapati. On one hand, you saw only dead bodies, and on another account or occasion, you saw people being executed with your own eyes. And I'd like you to only refer to the account where you witnessed it personally. Can you tell the chamber when that happened and where? Answer. I incidentally witnessed the execution at the Tool Slay or Slaying Hill, and at that time I did not remain there for long because I was afraid the Khmer Rouge militia would see me and would accuse me of being a traitor. President, thank you, National Co-Prosecutor. It is now convenient for us to take a short break. We take a break now and resume at 10:30. Court officer, where is the court officer? Could you please assist the civil party and the TPO staff during the break time and invite them back into the courtroom at 10:30. The court is now in recess.
Sure.